Person 106. So your energy manifests and becomes all of these dots of light, and I'm instantly pulled to like a light bright and the old game, and I know that there's this like light bright clown face that's kind of coming through, but it starts writing on the light bright, "This is the life of," and it implant your first and last name or your two names, and then I see this like clown kind of come up after that, and then from there I start hearing like circus music, and it's like that dun 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 dun, and it keeps playing over and over. And so we fall down to the ground, and they're using my body, and so I'm seeing like there's this big, weird looking like carny, I don't know if that's offensive or not, kind of a clown guy, and he's got like a big cane, and there's that like big weighing machine with all these lights, and he's like, "Step up, guess your weight, guess your size, guess your height," all these weird things. And I'm like a very petite, I would say, skinny kind of girl, and so I step up to the weight, and on the big board it says fat, and everybody starts laughing, and I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't right, what's happening? And so we turn around, and then we go to this like booth, and there's like the like ping pong ball, where you throw a ping pong ball in like a glass fish bowl, and there's all these like fish bowls, but there's this huge glass fish bowl, and it's got this big old shark in it. And this next guy, like clownish type guy, who's all weird looking, says, "Throw the ball," and so we throw the ball, and it lands, of course, in this one huge open fish tank, and he's like, "You have to take the shark home." And so you're now like holding this big glass, I mean, this thing is like 10 times the size of you, it's like an aquarium, and there's this huge vicious shark in it, and everything's just so wrong. And then we decide to go into like a fun house, but it's like a roller coaster, and so you step kind of through that weird fun house looking front facade, and you go into the roller coaster part, you sit down, and there's somebody who's a normal kind of human sitting next to you, and as you go up and down on the roller coaster tracks, they pour honey on you, and then flour, and then feathers, and you come out, and the person next to you is completely fine, but you come out and you're like this like chicken, like tarred and feathered type of thing, like humiliation, and everybody's laughing, and then it's just, everything is so wrong and so opposite, and so it just doesn't feel right. And so then then I see the light bright come back up, and it says, "This is the life of," and put your name, and then I hear "freak show" in the back, and so there's somebody screaming like "freak show," and I'm getting like a whole, the bearded lady, the like tattooed man, like I'm getting all these things now. And so then I remember the subject line of what you had sent through the email, and I'm going, and as I start to have this remembrance, and I actually asked for what the name of your reading was, or the title, to help me clue in better, and they say remember, so maybe this is for me or you, who knows. And so then I got this full body just energy run through me that, okay, this is how it's connecting together from the subject line of what you had sent over, and the kind of medical, like, how is this even possible? And so I'm getting that there's this complete opposite, like, what's going on? That's how I was feeling, like, what's going on? What is this? And it was completely opposite and freak show, coming at, and like things that are right or wrong, and all this type of stuff. And so from here, then I see you, they place you right into this tunnel, and I see you, there's, at the end of the tunnel, it's a really tight tunnel, and at the end of the tunnel there's this train, and the train's making its sounds, and the horns going, and the lights coming, and it's going from small to really big really fast. And so you're facing the train, so you turn around, you start running for your life, and you're running as fast as you can, so much that you're sweating and panting, and you're not going to make it. And then at that second where it's like you're going to get taken over by the train, I see you sit up in bed straight up, and this is really interesting because all of these house associations I'm going to do next are all, they placed it in my house. So I'm thinking it's more of that emotion of the situation, because most of the time I'll see an unfamiliar setting, but it was all placed in a familiar setting of my house. So I see you like sit up in my bed, like in the side of my bed, and you're sweating, you're like dripping sweat, dripping water, like terrified, but it was like a bad dream type of a thing. And so I I watch you get up and walk to the shower, which it's my same path to my shower. So, and I see you run cool water over yourself, and your hands are on the tile wall in front of you, and the shower's pouring down you, and there's just this like release. It's like letting it go, washing it away, type of a feeling. And then from here, I see you now move into what would be the TV room, and it's night. It's like, maybe 3 a.m. or something, and I see you sit down on a couch, and basically I see a glow of a TV start. And so then the next thing I get is the sun rises, and you're like up to greet the sun, basically like you hadn't slept after that, and the sun now rises, and now you're up to greet the day. And so then I see you move to, like, we have a back porch, and so I see you move out onto this back porch, and I see you climb into a hammock, and as the sun's up in the sky, now I see you like very calm and at peace, and the sun shining down on you, and it's like the sun just kind of melts you, and you're in this complete state of, so I'll go out on my back porch and lay down just on the porch and let the sun hit me, and it's just a moment of like connection, inside connection, my internal body, my external body, everything just feels in harmony with everything going on. And so this is what I was getting you feeling in the hammock, I think kind of pushes that point home, because hammocks are what, like the most relaxing thing, or at least my vision of a really relaxing setting. And so I'm saying then that during the day there is this complete connection and release and comfort and relaxed place that you're in. But then at night I'm getting this duality between the day and the night, and at night I'm getting that there's this fear. And then I hear the voice of whoever the narrator in Shrek is going, by day one way, by night another, when he's talking about Fiona. And so I'm getting that there's this complete duality and change between maybe the emotions that you have, or whatever you're feeling, or whatever you're holding on to, from like day to night. And I'm getting in day, there's this relaxed, connected feeling, but at night there's this fear, there's this like fear, anxiety, terror. I mean, there's like, it's a very severe kind of emotion that's attached here. And so from here, then I see you back out on that hammock on the porch, and I see you now rise up above the tree line, and I'm instantly pulled to a meeting I had with one of my guides when I wrote my first book. It's so interesting to me, after I started reading people 100 and plus, like guides have been coming through more and more. So I'll send you more details on this, but the guy, you're sitting up in like a meditative position above the tree line, and a guide, who I'll send you the name of, came in, and he came to me first as a bird-headed figure, like a human body in robes, but a bird-headed figure, and he basically takes you, and he's all about, like, where he comes from, whatever, it was all about air, and there was like a lot of importance with air and using the element of air. And so he puts you on his back, and he basically flies you, and I see you on his back, like arms out on your knees, like allowing the air to move through your body. Like, I feel like almost you can feel the air moving through the cells of your body. And so he flies you to like a plateaued kind of mountain, the flat top mountain, and he sets you down, and he first does this connection where he places one hand, and this is an exact duplicate of a picture I painted, and he puts his one hand on your head and one hand on your heart, and he's connecting. It's almost like he's taking the energy of the crown and the energy of the heart, and he's like pulling it out, making it this like aura around you. And he starts to talk to you, and he says, and he's telling you that this world, and he's showing you the world around you, and he says this world is of your creation. Every breath you take, every inhale, every breath in you take, and every breath out you take, or you exhale, basically, you're creating this world around you. And he's telling you, look how beautiful this world is. Look at everything you've created. This is your world. And I see all the trees, everything that's like within eye distance to see around you turns into this dome. And it's like he's telling you, this is exactly every bit of this, every part of this is from your creation. Everything that's happening around you is because of you. With your breath in, whatever your intention, whatever your mindset, this is when you breathe in, this is what comes into your body. When you breathe out, every intention, every mental thought, everything that's happening within you, when you breathe out, that's creating the world you see and perceive around you. And he's basically telling you that this is a choice, that the cycle of this breath is your choice, and the world that you're creating around you is your choice, and everything that's happening, everything you're seeing, everything you're perceiving is your choice. And it's because of this, I'm getting this emotional, this mental state of how, when you're breathing, how you're interpreting what it is you're seeing and feeling, and all of this connection. And he's showing you this kind of like almost this like cycle of life, and trying to help you see that this is your world, and everything that's happening within it is of your own creation. And this is, as I know this guide, this is kind of one of his big messages to humans. And so it's almost as if he's trying to teach you as well. And this goes back to the air and how they use the element of air. So when I saw you up on the bird on your knees, flying towards the plateau, allowing the air to move through you, it's almost like this non-resistant quality of allowing the air and this element of air to move through you and to not hold on to anything. And then, and then as we cycle through our own life, taking in those inhales and exhales, it's and I was getting this like inhale love, exhale peace, and then inhale peace, exhale love, these connections to, when we breathe, and being intentional when we're connecting in with our breath, so that the world that we perceive and see around us is actually being created based off of a conscious decision, but allowing it to be fluid and flowing around us. And so after he was done kind of doing this with you, then he takes you guys kind of manifest back onto the rainbow road, and takes you right to the portal, the door frame, where I typically see the next kind of phase of the journey take place. And he puts his hand around you, and you two embrace and hug, and then he leaves. And it's like you have all this power, and you trace out the frame of the door, and as you put your finger and trace it out, it turns golden. And as that happens, you like soar, you turn into a bird now, but like a human / bird, and you soar through this door. And as you soar through this door, I get this like golden current following you. And typically people will reside, now they'll move through this portal and fall somewhere within the 7 chakras, and you went right through that, and you went soaring up. And I felt like you were attached to this light somewhere off in the distance that you were being honed into. And I start to see like this dimensional kind of portal moving around you. And so I know now we're probably going up to quote unquote like heaven. Like I feel like we're transcending anything within the physical here, and you're like moving through to, I just know this is like interdimensional travel feeling. So I feel like you're moving, and I see like a white kind of staircase. So that's always kind of a representation of a heaven to me. So I see you go up now into this heaven, and I see as you move into the light and everything becomes clear, the first image I see is of like a school-aged classroom setting, and all these little kids are sitting in school reviewing a board in front of, like a chalkboard in front of them, and I hear voices that are yours and somebody else's in the background, and you're making this deal and saying, I've learned so much in this life. I don't want to stop now. I've learned so much. I don't want to do it again. I know what I'm supposed to do. And you're like making these contracts, almost like talking to an angel or a guide or somebody here who's greeted you. And I'm being pulled from what you expressed on just the one line of your email, that this is probably what happened when you had the near-death experiences. You were pulled up into like the heaven state or the sixth dimension, and basically went through a life review and decided, we have the choice to decide if we want to continue to live in whatever circumstances and conditions, or if we want to choose to move into another life at that phase. And so I get that this is your kind of review, and I'm seeing that you're analyzing the life thus far and saying, I've learned a lot. I know it's almost like I get this feeling like I've learned so much. I don't want to do it all again. I want to go back. I want to be where I am, and I want to continue. And so you're kind of given the blessing to continue. And so then you come down to the ground now, out of the sixth dimension back into like the plane, or physical plane, and I see you now walking on grass towards your Akashic records. And so I see your Akashic records. It's almost, the architecture is like a mix between like a Chinese kind of architecture and like I'm feeling almost like a Bali pole, because it had those really ornate curved ends, almost as, oh gosh, is it a pergola? I don't know what those things are called, but they're like open air underneath it. Like it has a heavy ornate topped roof, but then it's all like big posts into the ground, and like the air can move through. There's no real walls. And so you walk up to this huge structure, and as you walk up and in, you almost turn into like a monk, and there's all these monks underneath the structure, and they're all doing a big sand art sculpture type thing on the ground. And I'm getting now pulled to this connection of the art, and that the art, they make these sand art pieces, and as soon as they're done, then they basically they don't destroy them, that's a hard word, they clean them up as soon as they're done. So as soon as they finish making the beautiful art, then they automatically start to clean it up as soon as they finish this huge masterful piece of art that took weeks or months to do. So now I call down your higher self, and your higher self comes down, exact look of the Dalai Lama. And so I ask, what's for the greatest good for this person to know at this moment in time? And this Dalai Lama version of your higher self comes down and says, what she needs to know is that life is just like this sand art, this sand sculpture, painting, whatever, that it needs to be enjoyed. The beauty of life needs to be enjoyed while it's happening. That once it's over, there's no more attachment, there's nothing left, and life is not meant to be kind of captured and viewed from afar, and like a painting, like worshipped is the wrong word, but admired, once it's complete and over, and have it be kind of stagnant. That the beauty of life is like the beauty of these monks creating this sand art, that it's every moment is the beauty, is the connection of what's being created, and life needs to be kind of worshipped from that singular space of when it's happening, and that once the moment is over, it's time to begin the next moment, and not to hang on to what was created or done in the past, and it's to be lived moment by moment. And so this was the message. And then they told me with light and love, and so I usually have to ask if this is done, if I've gotten enough information. Dalai Lama looks at me and goes, with light and love, and like leaves, and everything stops. So that's where I'm going to leave you. That's the very end, with light and love.